Hello, Orbis here, and today I'm going to be ranking every track on the album First Impressions of Earth by The Strokes, released in 2006. So, in my opinion, this album is a bit of a step down from the first two albums. Is This It and Room on Fire are classic albums and are absolutely amazing. This album, it has some good songs on it. It's a bit of a change in style from the first two albums, which is a good thing, because Room on Fire is essentially the same kind of style as Is This It. And I love that album, but if they had just done that again, that would have been a bit too much maybe. I think it's good to change up your style, which I think after Room on Fire the Strokes did for every album, which is great. And this album, it has some really good songs on it, but overall not quite as consistent as the first two albums, and some of the songs drag on a bit, and it's just not an album I go back to as much as some other Strokes albums. I even like the album after this one, Angles, a bit more, because that's also a change in style, but it's more kind of in a more experimental and interesting direction, whereas this album, it's less garage rock and more, it has more of a refined sound to it. It's a lot heavier as well, which is good at some points, I guess. So let's just get started with the ranking. So at the bottom I've gone with Killing Lies. This one just drags a bit for me. I don't know. It's it just drags. Find it a bit boring. And next up is Electricity Scape. I like the guitar playing and sound on this song, which is the case for a lot of this album, but it does tend to drag a little bit for me. Next up I put Vision of Division, which again, some amazing guitar work, really heavy portions. I love the instrumental parts are amazing, but the parts where Julian's singing, the main parts of the song, they don't stick out to be too much compared to some of the other songs on the album. Next up I put Fear of Sleep. I would say I like the verses, but I don't like the chorus. And next up is On the Other Side, which is the opposite of Fear of Sleep in that it's got a great chorus, but the verses drag a lot. Next up I put 15 Minutes. I don't love this song, but compared to the songs I've mentioned so far, I think it's more consistently enjoyable. And from here on out, I would say I pretty much love every song I'm going to mention after this point. So next up is Evening Sun, which is just great. It's got some nice guitar playing and some good vocals from Julian. Next up, I've put The Closer, Red Light. I love this song. It's got a great guitar part for it. Next up, I've put Ask Me Anything. I don't know what other people think of this song. I feel like I'm ranking it higher than most would, but I think it's amazing. I love this song. It's so unique. It stands out a lot from the rest of the album, and it kind of represents why I like Angles more. I guess it's kind of an indicator of what they would do later. It's very unique. It's got pretty much no traditional rock instruments. It's Julian's vocals, and you've got this like organ keyboard. I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds awesome, and I love this track. Next up I put Razorblade, which is great. It keeps the momentum going at the beginning of the album. That's something I forgot to mention. One of the problems with First Impressions of Earth is that it kind of blows its load a bit too early. The very best songs are at the very beginning, with some of the other really good ones at the end as well, and then in the middle it's kind of, I guess, filler, you could say. This album is pretty long, not super long, but I think you could argue it could have been trimmed down as well. Next up, Eyes of the World, which is like buried in the middle of the track listing amongst less memorable tracks. I think this song is amazing, and I think this album is worth listening to all the way through just to hear this song. It's just it's great. Okay, so we're on the top three now, and you already know which three they are. These three could go in any order, to be honest. They're all fantastic, just classic Strokes songs, some of the best that they've ever done. So at number 3 I put Juicebox, which is great. It's very heavy, very punky. It's got a very tense and aggressive feel to it, which I really like. At number 2, I've put You Only Live Once, which is a very popular Strokes song, and yeah, what can I say? It's fantastic. And for number 1, I've gone with Heart in a Cage, which is just it's phenomenal. Again, I could have gone with any of the top 3 as the number 1. The interesting thing about this track is that it sounds, out of every song on the album, it sounds the most like the first 2 albums. It's got a very garage rock sound to it, and I believe that's because it was left over from Room on Fire. Yeah, it's got great vocals and lyrics from Julian, and yeah, I just adore this song. So that was my ranking of every track on First Impressions of Earth by The Strokes. Let me know what you thought of my ranking, and also give me your ranking if you'd like, or if that's too much, just say what your favourite tracks are, what your least favourite tracks are. And next up will be Angles, which will be very fun to do, I think. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.